I was building a software, not because I had a business plan or a mentor or any idea what I was doing, just because I noticed a pattern nobody else seemed to be acting on, and I became completely, embarrassingly obsessed with it. I stopped going out, I stopped watching shows, I was reading, building, testing, failing, rebuilding at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday like it was the most normal thing in the world. And somewhere in that obsession, I accidentally learned more about money, wealth, and how the world actually works than any finance class ever taught me. And so, these are the 6 things I wish someone had told me before I figured them out the hard way. Obsession took me further than passion ever did. Everyone I know told me to follow my passion. Nobody told me that passion is lukewarm. Passion is, I really enjoy this. Obsession is, I genuinely cannot stop thinking about this at 2 a.m. and I'm not even tired. Those are completely different energy levels, and they produced completely different results for me. When I was building that software, I wasn't passionate about it. I was obsessed with it. I was rebuilding things that didn't work, going down rabbit holes that had nothing to do with the original plan and finding gold there anyway. That obsession compressed years of learning into months for me. It made me do things I never would have done if I was just casually interested. And it built a level of expertise that casual interest never produces. I didn't start obsessed. I decided to become obsessed. The best investment I ever made was building something, not just buying something. Every finance influencer will tell me to invest in index funds. And index funds are fine. They're not the problem. The problem is that buying a piece of something someone else built gets sold to me as the primary path to wealth. It isn't. Wealthy people almost universally became wealthy by first building a business, creating something that solved a problem, and scaling it. And that's what nobody told me about building a business, though. It's not really about the money, it's about what it does to my brain. Building something forced me to think differently about problems, about value, about how money actually moves in the world. I also learned that my net worth started with how I saw the world. When I was building that software, I kept running into people who looked at the same problem I was trying to solve and said, "That's not possible. Way too hard. That'll never work." And I kept thinking, well, that's exactly why I should do it, because I used to be trained to see problems as stop signs. And right there, I knew that pessimism is the most expensive mindset I carried in my 20s because it filtered out every opportunity before I even evaluated it. And so, when I thought about it, every business that has ever existed was built on a problem someone decided to solve instead of complain about. So I started seeing problems as unpaid opportunities instead of reasons to quit. I read every finance book I could find. Then I ignored most of the advice. After I read enough finance and business books, the real ones, the classics, something interesting happened. I started to see that the advice was essentially the same. Across different authors, different eras, different industries, same core principles kept showing up. That repetition was the lesson for me. It was telling me the path is way simpler. Spend less than I earn, build something valuable, think long-term, understand compounding, don't make emotional decisions with money. That's it. I realized the complexity is largely a product being sold to me. I kept my income and I built the thing on the side. This is the one I wish someone had told me before I romanticized quitting everything to go all in. My income was not the enemy. It was my runway. It paid my bills while I figured out whether my idea actually worked. It gave me the time to build without the pressure of needing the thing to immediately generate money. That pressure kills more good ideas than failure ever does. I know, because I felt it. That stability gave me the space to be patient, to iterate, to not take the first bad deal out of desperation. My goal was to build something on the side that eventually made the other income optional. I was collecting credentials instead of building things, and I didn't realize the difference until I'd wasted years. Now I'm going to say something that made me uncomfortable when I first admitted it to myself. The extra certification, the additional degree, the credential I was collecting because it felt like progress, most of it was an elaborate form of procrastination dressed up as ambition. I was preparing to do the thing instead of doing the thing. Turns out I was just adding more lines to my resume. So bottom line is I had an obsession and a problem I genuinely wanted to solve. And that turned out to be enough to start. So these 6 lessons came from building something, failing at parts of it, figuring it out anyway, and paying attention to what actually worked for me. My 20s didn't come with a manual, so I made one. If that's useful to you, stick around. See you in the next one.